Hey, welcome to another video from Skinny Medic. The last video we talked about how to do a tourniquet, right? Remember how to do a tourniquet?
Yep.
You think you can apply one right now?
Hope so.
I should like throw one. I should have threw one on the ground. I should have. But this one, we're going to talk about wound packing. So tourniquets go where?
Limbs, I know where there's...
Yep. So arms and legs. So wound packing is generally for like the armpits, the hip, where you can't get a tourniquet up high enough, or like here up on the arms, and you can't get a tourniquet up high enough. So that's where we wound pack to control that major bleeding. I've wound packed several times in the field. Did it recently to a neck injury. Got the bleeding controlled. Rode to the hospital with my hand on the patient's neck. It was awesome. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to got a pretty cool simulator here for you to use. But wound packing, you can use like regular gauze. You could use a t-shirt, honestly, if you had to. Most IFAKs trauma kits are going to come with like C-locks or combat gauze.
All right.
But you could use a t-shirt if you had to. Like if you didn't have anything else, pull your t-shirt off, pull their t-shirt off, just introduce yourself first. And then you could wound pack like that if you had to. So like this looks like a gunshot wound here, but this could be like an arm or a leg is what we're kind of looking at. And there's some talk now about, say, you put a tourniquet here above the wound and you get the bleeding to stop, you could wound pack and convert it because we know that tourniquets hurt a lot. So you could put your tourniquet on here, get the bleeding controlled so it's going to look like this right here, wound pack it with your gauze, hold your pressure, and then slowly start to take pressure off the tourniquet. And if it converts, you got the bleeding controlled, it's better for your patient because now they have blood flow, some blood flow back to the extremity. The pain is gone-ish, but that works better for if you can convert a tourniquet. All right, so before this, you want to put your gloves on because people's blood is nasty.
Yeah, I don't know what they have, what they've been doing.
Yeah, and the odds of you catching something are super slim. Hepatitis is the big one, but we're vaccinated for that, and you have to be vaccinated as a first responder for hepatitis. AIDS is no big deal. We thought it was back in the 80s, but it's no big deal. Meanwhile, your patient's bleeding out while you're putting gloves on.
I'm really sweaty. I just got back from the gym. That broke weird. That's not good.
All right, let's get this thing bleeding.
So,
all right, look at that blood coming out. So make you a little knot there, kind of get you a good foundation.
This.
Yep. Oh, that is good stuff right there.
Having trouble doing this.
There you go. It didn't have to be anything fancy, just a... There you go. And just kind of go in, and you're going to probably work your way back towards the heart this way.
So this way?
Yep. And then you're going to be able to feel that bleeding coming through. And it's all about pressure. So once you get it in there, you can kind of rock back with your other finger too. There you go. Put more gauze in there. And you want to get that whole pack of gauze in there. This is about pressure on the artery. It's not about absorbing the blood like some people think, but getting it good packed in there as tight as you can get it. Typically when I've done it in the field, by the time you get half the gauze in there, especially using combat gauze or C-locks, like you're packing dry gauze. Yep, get it. You can kind of work your way around like all different crevices. Yeah, try to keep your fingers in there and then rock with your other hand.
Okay.
It's okay if it gets dirty because we're going to give them antibiotics anyway. There you go. If you're using just regular gauze, you're going to hold pressure for about 10 minutes. If you're using C-locks or combat gauze, something like that, then you only have to hold pressure for 3 minutes.
So I haven't done this since I was little.
You want to kind of get enough gauze in there and kind of make a little mountain coming out of the top of the wound. There you go. You can use your other hand. There you go.
Then we hold pressure on the top like this?
Yep, and hold pressure on the top. Hold pressure for at least 3 minutes if you're using a hemostatic agent, 10 minutes. After you get done, say it's been 3 minutes, we're going to look at the wound. And as long as it's looking dry like this, no more bleeding, we're good to go. And then we'd put a pressure bandage on top of it.
Okay.
If it's still bleeding, then you'd have to pull all that gauze back out and start again because you didn't get to the source of the bleeding.
Okay.
I should have told you how to like take your gloves off properly so you don't get blood all over yourself.
So I know how to do that. When you have your glove on, you'll take and pinch here. You'll kind of roll your fingers a little bit and pull it off, and then you'll slide these fingers under.
Yep.
And pull it off. Make sure you don't want to touch anything on the gloves.
Yeah, because if they're covered in blood, now you don't want to get blood on yourself, any open wounds on your arm, stuff like that. So awesome. So thank you guys for watching. You never know when you'll be the first responder. Remember the right gear and the right training.